Hello, one and all, and welcome to another episode of Baggers Chat. My name is Mitch Panson, and as always, we are joined by Ethan Daffy. And today we are previewing Carlton v West Coast at the Adelaide Oval. It is, of course, round 5, which means it is the gather round in South Australia. Saturday, 12th of April, we are playing 1:20 p.m. There's actually an earlier game that day as well, 12:35, which is I think it's North Melbourne. Gold Coast is hanging it. So that's probably even worse than a graveyard shift, mate. But
Yeah.
first things first, Daffy boy, we've had a few days to, I guess, relive the loss against the Pies and the shocking start to the season. So I'm sure you would be a little bit better now after a few days of, I guess, getting through the loss against the Pies. But how are you to start off with, and your initial thoughts ahead of this pretty much a must-win game, if anything?
Yeah, it's a lot of negativity towards the club, and that's fair enough at the moment. 0-4. I was talking to my mum before we filmed. We're going, what are we doing here? 4-0. What are we like? What is going on? What is going on? But yeah, I think the motto this year is week by week, and we focus on the Eagles this week. I think we don't need to look back at the first month of footy because it was an absolute shit show. But yeah, it's going to be an interesting matchup. It's just a gather round as well. It just makes the game even more weirder that we're playing West Coast over there. We're 0-4. They're 0-4 as well. Matt Owies playing against us. And yeah, I was thinking about it before. Gee, imagine if you booked flights and tickets to go to gather round about a month before the season or a couple months before the season. Now you're thinking, fuck, like you're forced to go. I've unfortunately booked tickets for Sydney in round 10.
I thought you were about to say that you're going this way.
No. No, I've booked it before the season to go to Sydney, and if we keep playing the way we do, Jesus Christ, that could be a shocker. But, but yeah, we just got to be, supportive. We're always there. There'll be people there at gather round supporting the boys, and let's just get a fucking win on the board, please. Because this is the type of team, I still have that belief that if we can get a win on the board, it doesn't matter who against, but it might just reset that mindset, going, okay, we did some things right here. We got the win. Now we focus on North Melbourne the week after. Let's just get a win on the board. I can't see 0 for any longer.
Yep. Yeah, 0-4. It's just like the realization of how far behind we are already, and we're now on the same level as West Coast, which is like coming into if we thought before the season that this would be a clash that would be a winless, like two teams looking to get their first win, I would have been laughing at you back then if someone said that in January. But yeah, now we're looking to this week and we are still without a win. So it's a very frustrating time, I guess, as a Carlton supporter, because we know what we can produce. We know we have seen it, and there's a lot of talk about our depth and how we've traded out a lot of the depth, and we've already played against the Dogs with Matt Kennedy, one of those players with the depth, and now we're playing against another side this week who with another player that is quite controversial that we've traded out with Matt Owies. I think both of them at the end of the day, when I look back at the whole spectrum, like at two sides of the spectrum of we brought in a generational midfielder in the draft in Jagger Smith to then trade out a guy like Matt Owies and Matt Kennedy and Jack Carroll. I think I probably would have rather Jagger Smith play. And as you've probably said the past few episodes as well, if Jagger Smith was playing right now, this conversation wouldn't even been brought up. Like even the conversation of Dan Houston as well. It would not even been brought up if Jagger Smith was playing right now. Because I was speaking to a guy from work and he was saying how good of a midfielder Jagger Smith is. And even last year when he was playing in the VFL and how he was dominating in the Richmond VFL, how good he was.
Yep.
You just know what he can produce as a midfielder. And as soon as he gets his opportunity to come in to the Carlton side and play in the mid, he's going to be generational, and I just can't wait to see him next year. And hopefully he's all right from the ACL injury. But speaking of some injuries, Daffy Boy, we're going to touch on the injury list, and obviously the injury list comes out. I think tomorrow it is. Tomorrow night, I think it is. So the two names that we'll touch on is Harry Mackay and Elijah Hollands, and they're not necessarily injuries, but I guess they are players that have had a bit of time off from the club, and they both actually played the VFL game on Saturday night. So that's good to see that they got through that unscathed as well. So they should be available for selection.
Yep.
I think both of them will be well and truly in the side if they are 100% fine. But it's really down to those two players and making sure that they're good. They're good to go, because if they are good to go, as I said, I think they are both 100% ins. Yeah, so with those names, Daffy Boy, your thoughts on those two, and of course Corey Durden. What's your thoughts?
Yeah, it's good to see Harry and Elijah back playing some sort of competitive football, not a scratch match. They played against a pretty good side on the weekend, Southport. They're pretty much, most of them are ex-AFL players. That whole situation up there is pretty cool. They fly people over from Victoria. They live in Gold Coast.
Yep.
And pretty much like a full-time footballers up there. So obviously they got a bit of cash, and it was I was watching a little bit of it, and you're seeing, Ben Camporelli running the midfield against a team full of ex-AFL players. It's going to be a pretty tough game to win. But all three of those guys, a bit of a sneak peek. I think they might be, a very, very good chance to play next week. But with Harry, if he isn't playing this week, I think the questions need to be asked. And I'm not having it, I'm fully supportive of his situation, and I'm fully supportive of, the struggles he's going through. I think it's a performance and anxiety thing, but he is so crucial to this team. And I know it's more about the mental and the physical side of things, but it will come a time when it's like, well, isn't it, I'm not I'm not having a go at him at all, but it's like, if he's fit, we really need him to play.
Yeah.
We really, really need him to play. And clearly he's not in the right spot to play AFL, but it's like, it comes a time, Patto, like he's so important. He's on a lot of money. There's always going to be a performance anxiety about every player in the AFL, and clearly he's feeling it, and we feel for him. We're both behind him. That's not me having a go, but like, how long are we going to wait for this to blow over? You're always going to be under pressure. You're a high-paid player at a big club, so that's my worry at the moment. What are we going to see from him for the remainder of the year in terms of his output on the ground? Like, I'd rather see him out there, and he doesn't have to be the main target. He could be a little bit of not a decoy, but a bit of a second or third option, Like, he doesn't need to be kicking bags, but we really need him out there structurally. We haven't had a game with him and Charlie, and look at the record we've got right now, 0-4. So that's just an interesting watch for me. Elijah looked really good on the weekend.
Yeah.
I think he had 18 touches. Clearly, he's got over whatever he got over, and that's really, really good to see. And Corey Durden had 10 tackles or 13, 12, I don't know how many tackles he had, but it was ridiculous. I was looking at the stats, and that really caught my eye. So, yeah, it's good to see all three of them playing.
Yeah. Really well said, actually, about Harry. I know that, like, it is a very, very touchy subject, and I think you absolutely nailed it. And like, you could not have said it better in the way that you explained it about, like, yes, it's a very high pressure situation. It's a very high pressure job, but also that high pressure means that you get a lot of pay, which he is on. These players are on sorry.
And I think that point's right, but I also think the money side of things would increase his anxiety right now. Like, I feel like since he signed that contract, I know he had a really good year last year, but look, when he signed the contract in 23, his performances weren't up to scratch. Were they? And we had that moment where his set shot kicking was completely off. That's performance anxiety on field. So I think it's a thing that he's been dealing with for a while, and I feel sorry.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it's such an interesting one because we've got no idea what is going through his
Mm.
head. And last year, I think he was actually quite solid. Like
Oh, he was one of our best players.
in
Yeah.
terms of set shots, yeah. Like I
Mm.
think he really improved that, and that's one of the things that he's been open about. That it's really gotten to him, and it's really drained him down mentally.
Yeah. Yeah.
These like the pressure of set shots and actually going
Mm.
back and taking a drop punt. Like, yes, like when he's on, when he's having a snap, he's probably kicking 97, 98 out of 100 from that angle. But if he goes back and takes a drop punt, that's the one that's when he gets a little bit of pressure.
Yeah.
And I just think that's like, unfortunately, that's what comes with
Mm.
professional sport.
Yeah.
And that's why I think you couldn't have said it better about the high pressure. But that's why you like what are the therapists and the counselors
Yeah.
doing at the club?
Yeah.
That's my question because
Mm.
we know like they've been open that they have actually employed people to make sure and
Yep.
like all clubs now.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah. Yeah.
especially
Yeah.
after COVID, I think they've been really on the ball about that, which I think is great.
Mm.
But
Mm.
like mental health is a real thing, and that is saying that that's very confusing to me because they're choosing to step away from the club. It's not like they are
Mm.
like they're actually choosing to step away from that environment. So
Yep.
what are they do? Like hopefully they're still having connections
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
within the club with these people like the counselors and the therapists to make sure that
Mm.
they're actually doing the right thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, I completely agree about what you said about Harry. Like very, very touchy subject. We don't want to go on too much about it. And I think he obviously can only control what he's going through at the moment, and
Mm.
he's the only person who knows exactly how it feels. But you are on a lot of money. Like he signed the contract.
Yep.
I'm sure when he signed the contract, he wouldn't have been complaining about the money, and that's unfortunately what happens.
Mm. Mm.
Like, yes, pressure comes, but that's what like the reason why you got signed is because you're such a good footballer and you're
Yes.
on such a high contract. That's why you signed the contract, and that's why now
Yeah.
this is when you're under a bit of pressure. You're going through some stuff personally, which is like not great, but it's
No.
fine. Like we're not going to hate you for it, but
No.
now you have had a few weeks. You've returned to the
Mm.
VFL. You looked
Mm.
absolutely great. Make sure you're coming back to the side this week and not having a few weeks off in the VFL because we need
Mm.
you more than ever right now, Harry Mackay.
Yeah. I think
Um,
the questions will be raised if he plays another VFL game. Like
from
if
who,
he
the club or external?
no, just from us and the supporters. Like if he plays VFL in the upcoming weekend and misses the Eagles game,
Yeah.
that's when the questions will be asked.
What questions?
Well, we've got a $900,000 to $1 million a year player
Completely.
playing in the twos.
Yep.
He's not coming back from injury. I know it's a big mental thing, but if he's mentally ready to play VFL, I know there's crowds and all that kind of thing. It's a different ball game, AFL footy, but if he can't come up against West Coast this week, like it's going to be pretty hard for him to come back.
Yeah.
Like it's, you know what I mean? It's that's where my mind is going. And I know Tony Shaw spoke about it on 3W yesterday, saying that's, I think, when the questions will be raised, and they should already be raised, that he's played a game of VFL and we're just like he should be playing against Collingwood.
Mm.
And I know that it's a tough game after the whole, performance anxiety. Their crowd going to be getting into him, whatever. But it's like, I feel bad for him, and we're not having a go at him whatsoever. And I know there's been some terrible comments about his whole situation on social media and those kind of keyboard warriors. But it's going to get to a point where it's like we can't even have him we can't afford to have him not playing. And if he's playing VFL, then he's ready to go.
Exactly. That's how I see it. Like if he's playing
or is
VFL,
yeah, sorry. Or is it the club not picking him? Thinking they're not, that's another going, is he not mentally ready to play on the ones? That's let's be real, he'll probably play this week after all this chatter, but
yeah. It actually got me thinking because I spoke with, out of all people, I spoke with my mum about it, about Carlton.
yeah.
I mean, she's not into she watches it, but she's not massively into, I guess, the football side of things. And we were actually speaking about, I guess, contracts. And it's like, I don't know why. Like, there should be some sort of stipulations and restrictions in contracts when if you don't perform. So, and I don't
Yeah.
know if it is like this, but I would
Yeah.
imagine
Yeah.
in EPL, like
Mm.
all these big sports around the world, I'm sure NBA does it as well.
Yeah.
When you sign the contract, there is stipulations and restrictions on the contract that you need to fulfill to get the maximum payout. There is
Mm.
probably
Mm.
bonuses as well. I'm sure
Yeah.
there
Yeah.
would be. I
Absolutely.
don't know, and this is why it's so private AFL contracts, which I
Mm.
fucking hate.
Yeah.
And the media
Yeah.
have saying these contracts need to be made public so we can compare and how we can grow the game to see this guy
Mm.
should be on more money. Like, it's not even, it shouldn't even be private because it's not even helping the players as well.
Yeah.
Like, what
Yeah.
happens if we find out that Harry Mackay's on 300K and his brother Ben Mackay's on 1.9K at Essendon and Harry Mackay's probably better than Ben?
Mm.
This is what I'm like. It's actually almost helping the players as well.
Yeah.
They
Yeah.
should be deserved to get more money. And
Mm.
what I find very funny is there's not enough. I mean, we don't know, but what I loved about GWS and that contract with Jake Stringer, I don't know if you've heard
Yes.
about
Yes.
the
Yes.
skin
Yes.
folds.
Yeah. Yep.
I think that is exactly what is needed
Mm.
within more contracts. That like if we make a big risk and sign a player, like probably what I would have hoped with Jack Martin, you need to play a certain amount of games and get yourself match ready and match fit, or else you are not getting your pay. And I know it won't happen because these players
Yeah.
sign the
Yeah.
contract to make sure that they have security within the team. And
Mm.
that's like, of course, I
Yeah.
want these
Yeah.
players to feel secure in their profession, but I'm just thinking of it and being like, there needs to be a bit more like not security, but just like there needs to be more risk on in these
Mm.
contracts because
Mm.
it's such a high pay and high risk job.
Yeah.
There needs to be more like would you kind of see the same thing about this? Like there's
Yeah.
there's kind of like there needs to be more stipulations and restrictions on these contracts, or else these players should not be getting their maximum payout.
Yeah. I think it's a tough situation because, like, you look at Jack Martin. Is it his fault that his body's not getting right? Like, imagine if you were playing and playing and training and doing everything you could as a professional, and then the club go, "Oh, sorry, we're not going to pay you." Like, it's things like that.
It's
I
it's
think it's
not
the,
it's sorry, it's not pay though. It's like
mm,
other players can do it. So if your body isn't made to be a professional, like they're getting paid hundreds of thousands
yeah, yeah,
of
yeah, yeah,
dollars. I know.
yeah,
I think I'm looking at it from like because we know EPL is so
mm,
like cutthroat. I think I'm looking at like
yeah,
that.
yeah,
I
yeah.
know.
But yeah, I think yeah, it's it's a tough situation. I completely get it. I think there should be clauses in the contract. I
Yeah.
think it should be, paying someone 500K a year. If they hit these certain bonus, if they hit these certain clauses, they can get to 700
Yeah.
or something like that. I imagine if every year that Charlie's on the Coleman, he's probably got an extra 50K,
Yeah.
extra, whatever. Crips with the Brownlow, all Australian teams. There'd be all sorts of things. It's a thing situation with like I think it's if they make there's like an Australian team for them is like the NBA first team, NBA second team, NBA third team. So it's like the three best teams, the three best 15 players, and if you're in that team, they get paid more. And then these guys are getting paid a lot more than AFL players. So it's probably a little bit easier to do clauses and stuff like that. Whereas AFL players probably aren't getting enough to like some of them probably aren't getting enough to have that clause. Like Blake Acres on 300K a year. It's going to be pretty hard to put clauses on him.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I understand it, but yeah, I think that also kind of links with the whole Harry situation as well.
And yeah, like that's why I kind of was thinking about it because like he probably and we've got no idea. We are only making like
Yeah.
assumptions, I guess. And it's not even about Harry. It's more like
No, yeah.
some players might be like, oh well, I mean, I get the exact same pay if I play this week or if I don't play this week.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I'm sure a lot of these players, if not all of them, would be wanting to play AFL football.
Of course.
But we know that there probably are a few players that'll be like, oh, I wouldn't mind playing VFL this week and then going out on Saturday night. Like
Yep.
when you're young, rich and famous, like 18, 19, 20, 21 years old, I think that probably is a conversation that needs to be brought up. And We don't know. Like the contracts, they probably already have this in place. We've got
Yeah,
no
yeah,
idea, and that's
yeah,
why I just think the EPL and NBA they've done it so well because they actually make the players' contracts public, so the media can
yeah,
comment
yeah.
on it.
Mm,
And we're just so like they just keep everything so private.
yeah.
And
The
I'm
the
not too sure.
the issue with the reason why they don't have the salaries public is the Players Association. So
Of course, yeah,
they get in the way of a lot of things, and clearly they voted for not to have their salaries public. And like you said with the NBA, it's always it's very interesting. Like if you look at the free agency market, you already know how much guys are getting paid. You know, Jimmy Butler with the Warriors is getting 120 million over two
yeah,
years.
unbelievable.
Like, and I think with those guys, they're getting paid a lot more. So they probably don't have as much rights to say, no, I don't want someone to know how much I'm getting paid
Yeah.
in a sense. So yeah, it's a good conversation.
Mm, yeah. So, Dash Boy, let's now move on to probably one of the more. Well, I feel like we've said it every week the past few weeks about the ins and
Yeah.
outs. It's kind of like
Yep.
gotten more pressure after more pressure after more pressure. Now we're heading into this week versing the West Coast Eagles. If anything, if last week wasn't, we didn't really want to go like full out, like we didn't really want to go full on towards
Yeah.
like dropping these players because we're playing against the Pies. This
Hmm.
week, there's probably no excuse because we're playing against a lesser team in West Coast Eagles, but also we can't really say that nowadays because we're on the exact same level as the Eagles. But your ins and outs, Daffy Boy, with the sub, what have you got?
Yeah, it's I think three of my ins are probably, absolutely locks, I reckon, to come in through Carlton selection. But I've got five changes. So my outs for this week will be Lockie Cowan with the hamstring. He's out for 4 to 6 weeks. I thought his form was a little bit down on how he usually plays, so I think he was kind of on the outer, in my opinion. But they would have kept playing because they keep playing guys out of form, which is good. Mitch McGovern will be dropped from my
Wow.
team, and I spoke about a stat that reflects his start to the year. He's had 17 turnovers in total, and seven of those turnovers have led to direct goals to opposition, which is the worst in the competition.
So bad.
Worst in the competition. And, we're talking about, crap teams like, West Coast and North who, leak goals as well. Richmond have, they were better on the weekend, but they've leaked goals. And he's the worst. And we're not losing by much. So those goals are massive. Those goals are massive. We haven't really been beaten by over 4 goals. And if he's given up, well, he's given up 7. That's almost 2 a game, Patto. 2 goals a game he's given up off his own boot, which is just not acceptable. So he'll be dropped. He won't be dropped in the real team. I can guarantee you that. My next drop is Sam Doherty. He'll be out of my team. He's not up to it. I can't watch him shirk another contest. It's a joke. It's not good enough. It is not good enough. And I forgot what the exact moment was, but people have been talking about it as well. He's backing out of contests, and I know he's got to the point in his career where he probably thinks if he has one more bad hit, one more big hit or injury, he's done.
Yeah.
But, Pato, we're not here for preservation of your body. We're here to win games of football, so he will be dropped. He has added nothing to the team at the moment. And that's harsh. That is harsh. He had 27 on the weekend, I think. But
Gimme.
like that type of weather's his type of game. That kind of long ball type, get it forward in the wet type game. And he just had no impact. Ashton Moyer dropped. He was a sub in a wet game. Probably didn't help. But if you're not up to it, Pato, we're here to win games again. I'm not trying to be nice. We're not trying to be nice, and I hope they're not trying to be nice at the selection table here. We've got to be a little bit more brutal. I don't know. I don't think Moy is a brutal drop. I don't think that's brutal. And
Not at
I
all.
know some people might find it brutal, but so fucking be it. And my last is my last out will be Lewis Young. It's nothing to do with his performance, but it's just the structure I would like to see this weekend and for the next few weeks. I think we're a little bit tall in defence, so dropping McGovern and Young will just make us a little bit smaller and probably improve our ball use with the ins I've got. So my ins, Jordan Boyd, he'll be in for Cowan, realistically. Harry Mackay, we spoke about him at length before, but fingers crossed he will be playing on Saturday, 1:20 p.m. Patto. Elijah Hollins
Like it.
has to play. No more VFL games. We have to bite the bullet. He looked very clean. We need a half forward who could roll through the middle, roll onto a wing, hit targets. That's what I want to see. My next in is Corey Durden. And my final in of this game, Patto, is Matt Carroll. He will be debuting. He will be debuting. Matt Carroll is in, and he's been good.
Yeah.
He's been really, really good. I've really enjoyed his games in the VFL. He looked solid in the Pracky games as well. And last year he had the groin issue. Clearly he's had to work his ass off to get a spot on the list this year, which is I like as well. He's not guaranteed a spot like, the rest of these guys who just go, yeah, I can turn over a footy and expect a game the next week. No, he'll be in, and I'm sure he'll make the absolute most of it. So he'll go into defence with Boyd and kind of not playing a McGovern role or a Young role, but I want guys who are a little bit shorter and better ball users, and they're both good ball users, Matt Carroll and Boyd. So I want to see them in defence. And my sub will be Corey Durden. So it's 5 in, 5 out, and obviously one of the outs is Moyer. So one of the ins has to be the sub. So for me, Corey Durden's the sub. Be a little bit of a live wire up forward, bit of pace, bit of zip, zap.
Dare I say, Daffy boy, I don't mind it at all. a lot of change. So that was 5 in total with not including Moyer.
Yep. So Moyer's out.
Yeah, that's
so 4 in the 22,
and then Durden sub,
including Durden. Yep.
Yeah. A lot of changes, but
yep,
probably valid. Seriously,
yep,
like probably warranted. Yep. And I think a lot of those outs probably shouldn't be surprised. And a lot of those ins, come on in and play your role. And if you don't, then there's pressure. Yep. I don't know why there should be. I don't know why it's so scary to have pressure when you're playing a professional sport.
Oh no!
Like there's pressure to play well.
Yeah. It's like,
why is there pressure to play well?
There should be any job in the world. You've got to not perform. I guess you perform in your job.
Perform.
Yeah, any job. Our jobs, we have to perform. If I don't perform, or just if I don't rock up for 5 weeks, we're fucked. No, I just had to laugh at that. But you know what I mean? It's like we wouldn't have those jobs if we weren't doing what we can do. It's the same thing. It's no different to a normal job. And of course, it's a high level. It's really, really good. I'm not expecting these guys to play well, turn into prime Gary Ablett Jr. every single game. But Mitch McGovern, I expect you not to make dumb decisions. For a guy who's 30 years old, Patto.
I know.
That's the way I expect it from a halfback for West Coast who played waffle for East Perth last year. I'm not expecting a guy who's been playing for 8, 9, 10 years. It's come on now. It's too far gone.
Yeah. And then that's why, I mentioned it in the review, and that's why it turns back to Mitch McGovern is one of those leaders in the back line, and they're telling, he's telling bloody whoever, like Salaka Will, what to do. And it's just turn around and be like, mate, have you seen your stats with turnovers in 2025, mate? Seriously.
Imagine if Will White said that to him during the game. The heat of the battle, and he's talking about his turnover stats. Well, that's what the coaches should be fucking talking to him about. I'm sure they have individual player meetings where they are, where they talk to players about these issues they have. They should be talking to Mitch McGovern about his issues and his brain farts, as I would call them.
Yeah.
It's a joke. I'm so nervous when he gets the ball. So I'm dropping him for my own mental health at this point.
Yep. And then, if anything, I'll contact Dom McHughy, and then he can walk into the Carlton club and speak to Buddy Mitchell McGovern, mate, about how to kick a fucking footy and how to hold a mark.
Oh, yeah. What is going on there? He used to be the gecko hands. He called himself.
But he called himself that.
Yeah, he calls himself everything. Maybe just hit a fucking target, Mitch, if
Yeah.
you're listening. Please,
Exactly.
we love you. You're a good player, and I wouldn't be against you playing, but I'm dropping you now because it is just not good enough.
Yeah. I don't know, mate. Maybe it's the egos with those Mitchells, mate. I don't know. But mate, I completely agree with the ins and outs, and that's why. I'll touch on pretty similar, but there are some changes that probably are, I guess, kind of a point of difference, really. Because you're making one more change than me, but I probably prefer yours more than mine. Looking at it, I probably prefer yours more than mine because there needs to be some statements made.
Yep.
Last week we saw it a bit with we made a statement of playing Will White, but if he gets dropped this week and Cooper Lord gets dropped this week,
what are we doing?
And it's all good. They'll play Doherty 25% CBAs.
The worst part is watching them play those guys, and we'll win, and then they'll stay in. They'll stay in the team until we actually play someone good. I think we've got Geelong in a few weeks.
Yeah.
So we've got West Coast and North. Watch them play the next 2 weeks against West Coast. I know we're focusing on this week first, but watch them dominate the next 2 weeks, and then we'll play Geelong, and then they'll shit the bed again because, like you say, the pressure.
It's the pressure.
They put the pressure on themselves.
So can you just read out your outs again?
Boyd, Mackay. Oh, no. Outs. Cowan, McGovern, Doherty, Moyer, Young.
Okay, cool. So my outs, Lockie Cowan, self-explanatory, 4 to 6 weeks. Fuck, that's annoying. But it's probably a blessing in disguise that he got injured because he probably would have been dropped this week as probably we both would have expected.
Yeah.
Mitch McGovern, I thought that was a bit of an outlandish call, so I'm kind of glad that you agree. Because I dropped in last week for the Pies.
Yeah, you did.
How's he still playing? It actually annoys me. And you know how much I love McGovern.
Yeah, we both love him. I love him as a player, but
it's not good enough. It's I don't know why there can't be some outlandish calls, and there's probably a time to do it. If you want to try and experiment, maybe the next few weeks, all due respect to West Coast and North, but we can probably make some risky decisions because we're playing in sides who probably aren't as good as what we are or what we could be. But, oh my God, could you just imagine if we lose to the Eagles? Could you imagine if we lose to the Eagles?
But it's like, I don't even think it's a risk dropping these guys. I think you want a couple fresh players. I reckon the outlook of the team will look really fresh with Boyd, Mackay, Hollins, Durden, and McCarroll. They haven't played many games this year, those 5. If at all. Hollins hasn't played a game, Durden hasn't played a game, and Carroll hasn't played a game. And Boyd's only played a half of footy, and Harry's played 1 game. So you put those 5 guys in, it might rejuvenate, just might give us a different look.
Yeah.
All I say is just win this game. And they could just reset it. And people go, but it's just West Coast. No, but mentally, once you get over that hurdle of a win, you know what Carlton do, Patto. I'm not going to say it, but they're that type of fucking team. They'll go on and win 4 games in a row. It's just what they'll do.
Yeah. I don't want to put it into your mind, but I will anyway.
Oh, no.
Could you just imagine if we walk into Geelong 0-6? Could you just imagine if we lose to the Eagles and North? I don't know what. I don't reckon the club would actually make it to round 7 if we're 0-6.
No, I think it'd be blown up. I think Icon Park would be burnt down to the ground.
What?
There'd be pitchforks. People would be out there with their pitchforks outside fucking Icon Park, Patto. And I think both of us would be. So there'd be protests. So there would be you can't tell me there wouldn't be a group of Carlton supporters if we go 0-6, even 0-5.
Yeah.
If we lose this week, you can't tell me there wouldn't be anyone going down to Icon Park saying this is not good enough. You've seen it with a lot of clubs, and this is an extreme example, but I remember when Richmond were bad, they dropped cow manure out the front of the Richmond's outside punt road, which is a funny gag.
Yeah.
But some support, people go to extreme lengths, Patto.
God. So we were speaking about it
Yeah.
before the episode, and we're not saying Michael Voss should be. Well,
No.
like we always, we'll always back him, but if we lose against the West Coast Eagles this week, is Michael Voss sacked?
I don't know how he gets through it.
I'm not saying yes.
Yeah, and I don't want it to happen, but it's like, fuck. If you're 0-5 and you've lost to West Coast
and Richmond.
Yeah. Like, my issue with sacking a coach, and I know everyone's going, sack him. We're just going to start from fucking square one again.
Yeah, I know.
Like, you can't bring in another coach now this season.
No.
Like, what is it going to be, Ash Hansen being the coach? Well, it might have to be. But, yeah, I think it'd be pretty hard to make a case for him to stay if we lose this week.
Oh,
I reckon they wouldn't even sack him.
Nah. I couldn't imagine it. I can't imagine losing this week. That's how bad it is. We're 0-4, but I can't imagine us losing this week.
I can absolutely imagine it.
God.
Surely not. But anyway, let's get back to your selection.
So out. So Lockie Cowan, Mitch McGovern, Lewis Young, completely agree. Mm-hmm. Ashton Moyer, out again. Brody Kemp.
Yeah.
But sub.
Yeah, okay. Yeah,
he's my sub. So
yeah, I like it.
I just want to see how the forward line can go with Kerno and Mackay returning and just seeing how that kind of looks. Because I don't know how that would look with Kerno, Mackay and Kemp down there. I necessarily don't want 3 tools down there.
No.
I think that looks more appealing with Harry Mackay and Kerno down there with Elijah Hollands returning alongside Fogg, Motlop, Durden. Will White as well. Zach Williams is a player that I'm looking at. Yeah. I don't think I want him to play small forward. I don't mind if he plays.
He could go back.
I think we've got too many.
I know, but it's that when Cowan went down, he did go into defence. So,
yeah.
So I wouldn't be against that either.
Yeah.
Because once again, like I said in the preview, there's too many guys playing out of position.
Yeah.
And that's why we've dropped Lewis Young.
Yeah.
And that's why you've probably put Kemp as the sub.
Yeah.
There's just too many guys out of positions. Good teams do not fucking do that. They just don't do it. They don't do it. Would Hawthorn play guys out of position? No. They're not putting Charlotte fullback? No. It's just not happening.
Yeah. And then that's why I'm like, when I look at the side now that I've, like, with the names that I've added, like you can even put Zach Williams kind of higher forward and like nowhere near the forward, but like so he's kind of on like a wing position delivering it in, or he's just playing as a very high half back. Like he's pretty much right in the middle, either side, whether he's half forward, half back, but he's delivering it inside forward 50. Because I don't think we need him in there with Corey Dern, Elijah Hollands, Jesse Motlop, Lockie Fogarty, Will White. I don't think we need them in. So, so my ends is obviously Jordan Boyd, Harry Mackay, Elijah Hollands, and Corey Durden. So it's good to see that we both have kept Will White and Cooper Ward. And I really hope that they do play. And we've kind of both gone with the back line looking with Wiedering, Haynes, and Sauce as the key backs. But the interesting one that I've gone with is I've kept Doherty. And with Cowan going out, I want to see Doherty in the back line. And only playing half back. And I'm giving him one more week. I probably shouldn't be, but I'm giving him one more week because I think I hate to say it, and it's quite a bad thing to say, but I think he's offering just a little bit more than what I'm seeing with Mitch McGovern. I think Doherty is not being as bad as what McGovern has been. And that's really scary because Doc has been fucking shit. So, no, but that just shows
you're right.
That shows how poor McGovern has been.
Yeah.
So
that's just why I dropped both of them.
Yeah.
Just have Boyd and Carroll replace both of them.
Yeah, I like the inclusion of Carroll. That's the one out of your ins and outs, and I'm like, yeah, I really like that. So they are the ins and outs. And I mentioned Sub Kemp, right?
Yes, you did.
Yeah. So let's now move on to the opposition watch, Daffy boys. So to the people who may not know what this segment is, we go through backline, midfield and the forward line for the West Coast Eagles, and touch on one player for each line and kind of explain why that might be a threat come this Saturday, 1:20 p.m. at the Adelaide Oval. So, Daf, as we always do, let's start off with the back line first for the West Coast Eagles. Jeremy McGovern missed last week, but it's sounding like he could be available for this week. But, I mean, like, on the injury list, it says 2 to 4 weeks with an adductor. That was from last week, but apparently he's kind of sailing through that quite swiftly. So I don't think there's a huge reason to play him, because they played like a Sandy Brock last week in that kind of key position. I don't know if you saw that, but they put Sandy Brock on Jesse Hogan, a first gamer. How funny is that? I couldn't believe it. But so I mean, it says 2 to 4 right now, Jeremy McGovern, but that was updated from last week. So I'm hearing now it's like 1 to 2, but he also could be a test this week. So knowing Jeremy McGovern could be returning, most likely not, but could be. How's your opposition watch for the backline looking?
Jesus Christ. And there's we've had opposition supporters have a go at us in the comments saying we're cocky, blah 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 blah. It's not even about us, but gee, before the season, I thought they were going to be better. I actually think they're somehow worse because they've lost Barras. I know they've gained Baker. Graham's a trotter. Yeah, he's not very good. So in defence, I guess. I'm not going to lie, I haven't watched many Eagles games this year. They've been on the 6:10 Sundays when I'm pretty much sick of footy by that time of the weekend. But for me, I'll just go Liam Baker, I guess. I'm looking at their defence. Liam Baker for me, just don't let him go loose. Don't let him get 40 touches. Don't let him have impact ahead of the ball. But yeah, other than that, we really, if we can figure out our ball movement for once in our lives, we should be winning this game comfortably. If Harry and Charlie are playing this game, come on. Come on. This is me saying it to Carl. If Carl are listening right now, come on. Seriously. I'm not trying to disrespect them. They've still got some handy players, but come on, Carlton. Come on.
We don't want to be.
No, we're not. We're not.
No. What I'm about to say. This is what I'm saying now, because Carlton supporters are kind of I guess, stereotypically quite arrogant. Let's say. I don't think I'm an arrogant supporter. I think I'm actually quite fair. But fuck me, West Coast on their side. When I'm looking at it from last week, so let me just go through some names. Yeah. Brady Hoff, who's actually been all right. He's all right. He's all right. Bad. And he will be in my opposition watch. He will be in my opposition watch because I think he will obviously take that small forward. And I don't think we really have any small forwards who are really performing at the moment. So I don't think it's really a huge matchup. But yeah, I probably will do Brady Hoff as the opposition watch. But Sandy Brock, Ruben Ginby.
He's all right.
Yeah, he's all right, but he's not a backman.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on there. I don't know. Yeah.
Liam Baker, Ryan Marrick, who's actually playing all right. Tyrell Dewar. Tommy Cole. Oscar Allen's even. Oscar Allen's actually been back.
What?
Oscar Allen's actually been going back recently.
What is he getting ready for Hawthorn's defence?
Probably. So that could actually be.
Surely
we
not.
Might see. No. Seriously, he might actually go back.
I hope it's the case. If we can take one of their forwards out of their forward line, I'm happy with that. Really? Come on. What are they trying to win the game or?
Yeah, it's bad. It's bad.
That's Bolton areas that if he's going in defence. Sure.
Yeah. Because I know that against Brisbane he went back, and because there was literally no one else. And I think this week, can I just say this? Sandy Brock versus Harry Mackay. Sandy Brock.
He'll have to take. Who will he take?
Sandy Brock would take Mackay.
Who's taking Curnow?
Binby would take Curnow. right now, Jim. So you're bloody
Yeah.
hoping. You're bloody
He's only
hoping.
191.
Who?
Jimby.
Yeah,
And
I
he's
know.
taking Kerno.
That's what I'm saying. So there's literally not another key back. So that's why they need to have McGovern playing.
Yeah, and he's fucked. He won't play.
No.
Back.
So like that's why I'm saying like I don't think he's any chance because he's probably around that 1 to 2 week away with the adductor. But I don't know if you just say, look, you just have to push through because this could be an absolute spanking.
Well, Marriage is 196.
Yeah, he is not taking a key.
He might have to though. That's the
know.
thing. Like you got Harry and Charlie, you're putting Jimby on one of them. I don't know.
Yeah, I'm saying this right now. Oscar Allen's going to go back.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If McGovern doesn't play,
I guess you got Waterman as well coming in. You said.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
that's a bit of my spoiler for the forward.
Can't fucking lose.
Yeah, that's a bit of that's a bit of the spoiler for the opposition watching the forward line is Jack Waterman will be my opposition watch. So that's why I'm thinking. I just think Oscar Allen has to go back. But oh my good golly, Daffy boy, if we could you just imagine the review? That would be.
I'd like to take a time machine and just see if we've lost or not, just to get ready for it. Because seriously, if we lose to a defensive Sandy Brock, like I'm not having a go at it.
All due respect, but
I've seen Carlton lose games at teams like this before. So let's just win. Anyway, let's just move to these mids because this defense, I need to stop looking at it.
Can I just say one more thing as well? Sandy Brock actually did somewhat decent on Hogan as well. Like, if Sandy Brock wasn't playing, generally, no, I think Hogan could have kicked 15. I'm not even kidding. I mean, Hogan kicked 9, but the commentators were actually saying that Sandy Brock actually did a good job, and I think he did. Yeah, it's actually unbelievable. So, Daff, midfield opposition watch for the West Coast Eagles. Who are you going with?
Every time you say the West Coast Eagles, why am I laughing? I guess you just go Harley Reid, don't you?
Yeah.
He played 76% of his game time on the weekend at halfback. So that'll be an interesting watch to see. They've just put him behind the ball just to get him a little bit more of the ball. But yeah, for me, he's had some antics and some things in game, which he's done and he's copped probably too much for. But I just don't want to see our boys kind of get into that, like you can, get him a little bit under his nerves and do little things, but don't start getting it. Just focus on the football.
Yeah.
Like, come on. Like we're not good enough at the moment to be focusing on punchies and just, chirping. And I don't mind it. We seemed be a bit soft in that department, but when there comes a time where it's just the game's, on, let's just fucking play. Focus on a guy like him because he's been a little bit down. And he's probably due to have a performance that is good. He's a great player. He is a great player. So let's put some time into him. Imagine, maybe a George might put in time into him if he's at the centre bounce, maybe. But he has been playing that half back. So I'm just intrigued to see what Harley Reid does. Yeah.
I usually don't go the same person, but my good golly, I am looking at that midfield. I'm like, there's literally no one else that is threatening. And that might come back to bite me in the bum, but Jack Graham, Liam Duggan, Jaden Hunt, Matt Owes has even been going up into the midfield because they really don't have any support. Tim Kelly has,
what is happening to him?
It's actually, it's quite sad. It's quite sad because he is just gone.
Yeah.
It's pretty poor. Clay Hall as well. Like he actually played half decent last week, but he's in his bloody 3rd game this week. It's unbelievable. So mine is by far Harley Reid. I think that's a big threat in that midfield. But Daff, let's now move on to the forward line opposition watch for the West Coast Eagles. We've mentioned that Jake Waterman is going to be returning this week. Expected to. There's obviously Matt Owes down there as well. They've said every single game, the West Coast, like when West Coast are playing, they always say the former Blue Matt Owes to just let us know again. And I'm like, mate, I don't care. Like, you don't need to keep saying it. So your forward line opposition watch for the West Coast Eagles, who have you got?
I'm going to go with the former Blue. I'm going to go Matt Owies. We let Schultz get off the leash
Yep.
last week, I thought. So I think we focus probably on their, I guess he'd be their best small forward, I'd imagine. Or maybe Jamie Cripps, maybe. Yeah, he's probably past it. Let's be real, but he tends to kick a couple against us. But no, Matt Owies, for me, it's going to be a very interesting watch that. The whole situation, I'm sure people will be talking about it. He'll want to kick 6. I can guarantee you he'll kick 3 goals. I just got a feeling it'll be one of those games, but just got to focus. I don't know who goes to him.
We don't have Cowan now, so it's like,
Haynes was playing as a small on the weekend on Bobby Hill
yeah,
for most of the game, so maybe Haynes, because always is more of that hit up target, isn't he?
yeah.
So Haynes would probably be the matchup for him. The old blue versus the new blue. So yeah, maybe that's the matchup.
Yeah, because Liam Ryan's not playing. I don't know why
Yeah,
he's not
yeah,
playing. And he's not on the injury list either.
yeah.
So
Okay.
that's
Yeah.
quite funny. So I'm quite worried that that could be a
Uh,
return this week because maybe it was just a 1 week injury and maybe it was a laid out. I mean, I don't really know. I don't watch many West Coast games either, but I know that he
yeah.
didn't play last week. So maybe he could be available this week and that could be another threat in that forward line because we know how good he could be.
Yep.
But my forward line opposition watch, I've already said it, it's obviously Jake Waterman. If he does return, and if he doesn't return for some sort of reason, another name potentially Archer Reed. He's actually been quite solid this year, playing as that second ruck, and I think it's very, very stiff to look good. But I think he's probably been that shining light for the West Coast Eagles in the forward line because he's actually been quite solid. And most of the time, like I think even last week, I think Sam Taylor went straight to him.
Yep.
So
Yeah. Yeah.
even over like Oscar Allen, which is
Yeah.
quite crazy. So
Mm.
um, I know that he's just he's a young guy that's trying to get through, and I couldn't imagine how tough it would be as a West Coast player playing in a pretty shit side at the moment. How tough it would be, but hopefully he gets going. But hopefully he doesn't play too well this week against the Baggers. But I think he has to be a big threat. But Duff, we're now going to move on to our match predictions. Usually we get a little bit more up and about these predictions, especially last year. But this year it's kind of felt like a chore, these predictions, because you just never know with Carlton. But for the people who don't know, we go through bag of the game, point of difference, and winner plus margin. So Daff, your match predictions, what have you got?
Yeah. So it's well and 4. It's a nerve-wracking time at the moment. I think we just need to get a win on the board and a little bit of belief in the system, a little bit back this week. And I know people are going to go, oh, but we only beat West Coast, blah, blah, blah. Let's be real. Every person listening right now, and I'm sure you and me are thinking, let's just get a win on the board. Let's be able to watch a couple fucking highlights because I have not watched any of the 4 games back in any sort of fashion. I've not seen anything. Like, how good's it when you just chuck on a Fox Mini after you win, or you watch the second half of the game when you come back home or whatever. We have not been able to watch any of that. It's the little things you get when you win games. So let's just win a game. Bagger of the game for me, it's got to be Charlie Curnow this week.
Yeah.
He's got to stand up and be the guy, be the superstar that he can be. I know our ball usage, forward of the ball hasn't been great, but I think in certain instances, I want to see a little bit more out of him at certain stages. So I think it has to be 6 minimum goals for him this weekend, and hopefully it's the case. Because let's just hope it's more than 6 goals for Carlton this week. We had 6 goals on the weekend. Like that's hard to watch. It's a hard watch when you can't score. I'd rather lose games and score 100 than lose games the way we have been. But point of difference, it's going to be Elijah Hollins for me. We've had issues forward of the ball with ball use. He is a good user. So hopefully, fingers crossed, he is the point of difference because we need it right effing now. We need it right now. We can't wait 3 weeks. We need to win now. And we need players like him playing well now. So he is the point of difference. And winner plus margin, Blues by 50 points. I think it'll be closer. But no. I don't know. I don't even know. I don't know. But I'm saying 50. Just saying 50. Not saying we will win by 50, but come on now. Come on. Like, seriously, I've said come on about 50 times this episode, but just come on. Win the bloody game.
I've said come on about 50 times, but just come on.
51 times now.
Yeah, it's a struggle doing these episodes at the moment. It really is, because it's just we're just waiting for, like, it's no like excitement. It's just like worry.
Yeah,
of like,
you're just praying something will happen.
I know. Oh God, but I will straight away, and we don't tell each other our match predictions. They are the exact same for the winner plus, except for the winner plus margin. So, over game, Charlie Kerner, point of difference, Elijah Hollins. But winner plus margin, I have said that I am not going to tip Carlton until they. How's this, right? I have said I am not going to tip Carlton until they can actually perform on the field and earn my trust again.
Yep, fair enough.
Blues by 1 point.
Yep, that's a bare minimum, I reckon.
That literally, I am like,
it's a game where it's like we can't not tip them.
Yeah,
like we shouldn't be. Like I see a world where we do lose, but like you said, like come on. Like if this is not a win, we're not going to win another game. I was watching Gold Coast Adelaide last week, Patto. We're not going to beat them the way we're playing. They're going to destroy us. Phil Thorpe will squash Mitch McGovern's head with his bicep, mate. Like, seriously.
So bad. We're not even in the preview and we're saying how bad. It's just like, it's the worry. It's the serious worry of like what could actually happen.
Oh, no.
That's
got to be season done if we lose this week.
I think it's already season done.
I think it's like 90% done. But it's still time. That's the thing.
Yeah, there's so many good teams now, though.
I know, but
yeah, I know.
We were saying that at 3-9 in 2023. Like we can't beat this team. We can't beat. We were with 2 goals down against Gold Coast in front of 10,000 in the MCG, and we kicked 10 goals in the second quarter, and the whole season shifted.
Yeah,
I'm not saying it's going to happen like that, but it can.
Yeah, exactly.
They should have the belief. Like, fuck, those players are good enough. I think.
Yeah, I think. I hate doing these episodes when it's like this, because it's just the hope of like, can you actually perform? And you know how good these players are. And I think the ins are crucial.
Yes.
And hopefully we can make some big statements in these outs, because I feel like all 4 of these players have to come in.
Yep.
And I don't want to see outs Cowan, Will White, Cooper Lord, Lewis Young.
Yeah.
And it probably will be that. And if it is that, I don't know what I'll do. Because then Mitch McGovern it will probably be 30 seconds left on the clock. It will be Mitch McGovern up against fucking Sandy Brock, and he will literally shit the bed. And Sandy Brock will have a goal after the siren and win the game. And that will be probably sayonara to Michael Voss's coaching career and Mitch McGovern's playing career.
Yeah. Jesus.
Oh, it's bad. It's so bad. It's so bad. But Daf, before we wrap up the episode, is there anything else you would like to touch on before we move on to the West Coast Eagles gather around Adelaide Oval? What a brilliant theatre and what a brilliant festival to see West Coast versus Carlton.
It should be a good one in there. Kind of 1:20 time Saturday where everyone's playing local footy, so they don't have to watch. So, no, I'm happy we're not on a Friday night, to be honest, or a Thursday. Just get us off fucking prime time, please. Yeah. Just get us off prime time. No one has to watch. We just have to watch us play against, the Eagles. But yeah, we'll be there. Well, we won't be there, but we'll be there to, watching from afar, supporting them. So let's just back them in. Let's just, new week, hopefully a new block of the season, a new month block of the season where we can turn these shit second halves into good second halves and wins. I want to see 4 quarters this week. 4. 4. People go, I at least want to see 3. No, 4. Is it that hard? Is it that hard? Well, clearly it is. But let's just beat them and get the season going, and then we can go into North and hopefully launch the season a little bit. I know the next 2 wins should be wins, but it's more about getting them done. Carlton in the past and currently are not getting these games done.
I'm always seeking like, Carlton, go out and lose. I dare you to go out and lose.
Yeah.
Dare you. Show me. Just go out and lose. See what happens.
Yeah.
Because there won't be a Carlton Football Club.
No.
There will be people ringing. There will 100%. Be people walking straight towards the club.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's something that I can't even imagine.
Oh,
but it's so scary because we're like 0-4.
Yeah, imagine heading into Good Friday and we've just dropped a game to West Coast and then we have to go watch them live. Like, come on.
Are you working on the game this week?
Yes, but I'll be watching. I'm at home, so working from home, so I'll be watching. Working. Yeah. I'll be watching, mate. I'll be watching.
Yeah. I'm working on the game as well, but
doing the exact same thing. Yeah.
Bloody watching.
I'll be nervous. So I'm going to be nervous, but hopefully by 4:00 on Saturday, it's a win and we can just not worry about it for the rest of the weekend.
Yeah. Hopefully we can get the win this week and start clearing our September plans for 2025.
For a holiday or for finals?
Oh, good golly. But to every single blue bagger out there, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe on our YouTube channel. Our subscribers are absolutely flying at the moment. I think we're up to like 1.27 or something. I think the last time I checked. So that's really good to see. And we get a lot of comments nowadays, and we even get messages as well saying that how much people are enjoying our content. So we absolutely have a blast bringing the content out, and it's good to see that there are people that are actually taking the content well and really do enjoy our episodes. So we have an absolute blast, and to see that people are actually watching and do enjoy it, it makes us even more motivated to do even more content. So if you can, please like, comment, and subscribe on YouTube, and also get around our Spotify and podcast platforms. Make sure to give us a 5-star rating as well if you do enjoy us, because that actually does help us on Spotify. And get around our social platforms, whether it's Instagram, TikTok, Facebook. There's a few others out there, Duffy Boy. Make sure to support us on our socials and never miss a moment or miss any information within the club. But to you, Duffy Boy, to every single blue bagger out there.
Yeah, the baggers.